Evening. Briefly about the Bongo project, who we are or what we are. We're a descendant of Novell, Netmail, NIMS and also the Hula project. We forked off of the Hula project just as Novell transferred ownership of Hula across to Messaging Architects in the beginning of 2007. We're entirely free open source. We're licensed under GPL v2. Our first release was in February 2007, where we replaced OpenSSL with GNU TLS for the encryption aspect of things. We reviewed our logging system and also did some bug fixing to some of the original code. Second release was in May 2007, where we rewrote the anti-spam and anti-virus agents for hooking into Spam Assassin and ClamAV. We also created a new admin user interface. The third milestone was released in January 2008, where we reviewed a lot of the command line interface tools for management of the services. We also added virtual domain support and also implemented the initial CalDAV support for Bongo. We also implemented aliasing and mail forwarding systems into the setup, and also our foundation for translations with I18N. Our next major release is due April of this year, where we're looking at implementing a new user interface and effectively replacing the old Hula both admin and web user interfaces. We're also a member of the Software Freedom Conservancy, where we join projects like Samba, Inkscape, Wine and many others for legal support in the current day and age of lovely litigation. It's nice to have a bit of backing, and the Conservancy offers us that protection, and also is a means for people to make donations that are tax deductible. What is Bongo? Well, basically we're a simple email and calendaring solution. We're not groupware, so we're not an Exchange or GroupWise or Zimbra replacement. They offer functions that we don't aim to offer. Our focus is email and calendar at the end of the day. We're written in C, Python and JavaScript. The main daemon agents are written in C. Python's used as the glue between those agents and the user interface, which is written in JavaScript, and there's also the admin interface is written in Python. Nice Web 2.0 Ajax-y interface. If we didn't, I don't think many people would look at us in this current day and age. We are highly distributable. The plan is that you could actually have the agents spread across multiple servers to spread your load, and also highly lightweight. Quite happily runs on a P2 with 128 meg of RAM, no issues at all. We're not anything to do with the Emacs audio plugin of the same name, Bongo. We're not a drum synthesizer either, and for the UK contingent in here, we have nothing to do with Umbongo Juice. Excuse me. The components that make up Bongo services are IMAP, POP, SMTP, CalDAV. There's an address book. We also have email aliases, multi-domain support, and antivirus and anti-spam. We use, or we offer SSL and TLS encryption for IMAP and SMTP. Antivirus and anti-spam, we don't have our own antivirus and anti-spam, we utilise the likes of Spam Assassin and Clam AV. We are looking at supporting the likes of Mail Scanner as well in the near future. Why would you want to use Bongo? Well, as I said before, we're lightweight. We have no Java stack behind us, so there's no Tomcat chewing up resources. It's nice and low memory footprint. We're integrated. We're not glued together from multiple projects along the lines of Zimbra, where they use Postfix, Spam Assassin to make up their complete stack. We've steered away from that aspect, as it's more difficult, we find, to maintain security patches, keeping track of what the other projects are doing and trying to keep our release schedule on track. Highly portable. We will run on pretty much anything. Currently, we only run on Linux, but that's only because we were only Linux developers. It has been ported across to Solaris, running on Spark, and x86 on Open Solaris as well. Highly modular. We're not a big lump of application code. More traditional Unix style application where we're made up of multiple daemons, which also helps with being distributable. And we're also user friendly. Anyone from my 4-year-old son to my 75-year-old aunt can actually get round using it, so that helps. The old interface, which is soon to be replaced, it's known as Dragonfly. As you can see, it's separated into mail that's directly to me, mail from contacts in my address book here, or mail from mailing lists. It's a bit of a beast to maintain the code on this one, and none of our current developers were actually part of the original team that coded it, which is why we're doing a new rewrite of user interface for the next release. One of the samples that we have at the moment is this. It is a mock-up, but it's a fairly well written mock-up, and it's fairly easy to add on. Hopefully it will be modular in the future as well. So the big 1.0 release in the future, and beyond that, what we're looking at doing is actually integrating a complete solution for email and calendars. So there will be a complete functioning service. At the moment, there are aspects that are in various stages of development, CalDAV being a relatively new addition to the suite. At the moment, we're not able to integrate seamlessly with other MTAs like Postfix or Exim. So you've got a mail gateway running one of those MTAs. At the moment, we don't play too nicely. That is going to be rectified after the 1.0 release. Our main focus is getting the actual stack ready and fully supportable and working. Our target audience initially is approximately 50 users per installation. We see that being deployed in small offices and organisations. Ideally, we'd like to see the likes of ISPs replacing their setups with Bongo, or education authorities, schools, colleges, such like where they don't require the big bloatedness of a groupware product. And also we're looking at implementing the likes of OpenID and other authentication methods for sharing of calendars, so you don't actually have to have a user account on the Bongo server per se. If you want to get Bongo, well, thanks to the OpenSUSE build service, we offer RPM packages for all the SUSE derivatives from 10.0 right the way through to SLES 10. We offer Fedora 6 through to 8, and hopefully it will be included in Fedora 9. We offer RPMs for Red Hat Enterprise 5 and CentOS 5, Mandriva 2007, and Debian Etch. Bongo is in Debian Experimental, and we're hoping to add the likes of Ubuntu shortly. There are Connery packages for those that like using Foresight or RPath, and also there are downloadable ISOs, Zen images, and also VMware images from RPath for using in virtualized environments. There are Bongo is also in Gentoo eMerge, and also you can get it from SVN repositories. Any questions? The address book. Yes, at the moment we're trying to ascertain the best way of having an accessible address book on the web. One of the problems is if we went with LDAP, FAT clients, whether it be Evolution, Thunderbird, K-Address Book, whoever, they all implement LDAP slightly differently. So if you export or if you import or connected Evolution to Bongo for the address book, it may well work quite well. Thunderbird, on the other hand, may throw a curveball. So that one of the issues is finding an open standard that is easily communicatable through all the clients. On the email aspect, it's quite easy. Everyone talks IMAP, and IMAP's a well-defined and pretty much set in stone how IMAP works, albeit with the 3 or 4 RFCs attached to it. But it's a lot easier to do that than the address book. Yep. We do. Nobody internally has actually tried it because nobody's got an external LDAP directory to play around with. But it has been done in the past that the code is still there from Hula for authenticating against an external directory. So yes, it should work. Yep. Sorry? Yes, we are. At the moment, there's a couple of options available. One of them is Conduit on the GNOME desktop, but there's also other items. Whether we are looking at implementing a sync option. So at the moment, Conduit is in the lead. Yep.
Can you point Bongo at an existing IMAP server?
At the moment, no. That's going to be looked at after the 1.0 release. So you can use the Bongo web interface or the Bongo calendar aspect and connect to your current mail interface. Like I said, our focus at the moment is to actually get all aspects working quite nicely together. Once that happens, then you can have just the calendar services running or just the web interface running without the back end, and you point it to your postfix XM setup or whoever. So that is on the drawing board. Any other questions?
In the previous slides, what do you mean with 50 units per installation?
For per server installation. So if we have on one single physical box, you have a Bongo install. We're looking at the moment at approximately 50 users, so small offices, such like, could quite happily go up to 100, but we'd rather than blow our trumpet too much and find that it falls over, we're confident that 50 users is no problem at all, whether they're high email users or low email users. 50 users is quite doable without any issue at all. Yep. Sorry? Localization, we've started. German is there. French is on its way. Portuguese is also on its way. But that's along with the next release, we're looking at expanding localization aspects. And lastly, getting involved. There's the Bongo project, our homepage. We're on IFC and OFTC.net. There's forums. We've got Planet available. Get mailing lists, bugs, and our SVN from GNAR. And also we're a fairly sociable bunch, so we meet up quite regularly.
Okay, thank you
Thanks.
very much.